and welcome back to the channel. And today we have a very special guest. So if you are in the property practitioner space, you've done something along the lines with property, etc., then today's guest is nobody new. Today with me, I have Freda from FK Consulting. Freda, welcome.
Thank you very much. Thanks for the invite.
Yeah.
I'm very excited.
So, Freda, what positions FK Consulting so well in this property practitioner or industry that we're in?
I think there's key for FK Consulting is the fact that we kind of really firstly believe in the industry.
Yeah.
I've got a huge passion for the industry and for the people in the industry. And that comes along or brings along a different approach in terms of when it comes to advice. So my obviously the key focus of the company is the fact that we train, we mentor, we put programs together. But with that comes my years of experience, and I kind of feel that I could really advise people to the T.
Yeah.
There's lots of scenarios, there's lots of things that you have to look at when you kind of qualify yourself as a property practitioner, etc. I think it's important to know exactly where do I need to go with what. There's so much information. There's so many programs. There's so many things that I need to address. And FK Consulting could really equip you with the correct advice.
Yes.
To really direct you in what do I need to know or what and how does it how do I actually get to the next step? I think that's kind of where the focus is for FK Consulting. So yes, I still do some training, lots of it. I'm associated with a lot of training institutions. I collaborate with a lot of training institutions and service providers. So yeah, people can contact me for that correct advice in where you are in either your career already, or if you are looking into exposing yourself to real estate. I think that's the key, what FK Consulting is about.
Okay, good. So I've personally obviously utilized your services and I've interacted with you guys, and I think it's a phenomenal platform. You know, when I just joined as getting my full status as a property practitioner, there was a lot of things in the beginning which I'm glad I had joined, which I got the necessary, you know, tools, information, expertise, because it could have made life a lot more difficult for me. So
yeah, I think, Thijs, that's exactly. You are the perfect example in that sense as well. Because what you obviously did was you connected with me, and I could say to you, great, Thijs, this is where you are now.
Yeah.
This is where you should be in the next 6 months. This would be your next exam coming up. You need to prepare for it, etc. It could have definitely taken you way longer if you did not get the correct advice. And that's exactly what I'm experiencing on a daily basis, where people would have been in the industry for years, completely lost in terms of what do I need to do? Because remember, we're coming from where a lot of the qualification requirements, for instance, changed last year in June, July.
Yeah.
They've made exceptions again in the last 12 months. So for a property practitioner, either be it a candidate or a full status or a business owner or a principal, to really advise and know makes it hard because what is my scenario and what's my next step? So that's really what I focus on, and then direct you where you need to go and how you need to do it.
absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, and I use me as an example as a newcomer in the industry. Obviously, I've got historical background in business, etc.
Yes.
But when I, as a newcomer, joined, you know, that was some of my challenges. What are some of the other things that you've experienced, newcomers to the, you know, real estate business sort of face?
Guys, you know what? I mean, think a little bit about it. There is so many things that you need to know. I mean, we're talking about come from legislation, what is applicable in signing legal agreements. It is huge. So I think that when starting in the industry, it is so overwhelming. Where do I need to focus? Do I first qualify myself?
Yeah.
Do I first equip myself with the necessary sales and marketing things that I need to know and presentations? I join a company. What do I need to know about my company? So the fact that that it's so overwhelming is challenging. So if you could get assistance in terms of just directing you in what do I need to know and when do I need to attend to what? Because that's the other thing. It influences your income. It influences your exposure and all of that. So that's challenging.
Yeah.
The enormous amount of things that you need to know. And as you say, you came with a lot of business experience, which you could fall back on. But I mean, even though you had all of that, it was challenging in terms of what's my next step in terms of my qualification.
Yeah.
You were also an exceptional student, so I need to just say that. But yeah, point is, what happened in your case was the fact that because you knew exactly what was the next step, you could have also you also qualified in the shortest period of time.
Yeah.
And I mean that is a huge advantage to any real estate practitioner, and obviously to people that and we're still going to speak about that. When people engage with you, your client. I mean, what is the benefits of dealing with a well-equipped, qualified practitioner? There is advantages to it.
Yeah.
So, and I mean, it's also it's really state's responsibility to also inform clients, to tell them, why do I need to work with a equipped, qualified, compliant agent?
Yeah.
That's very important.
And I think you said it exceptionally well. One of the biggest things for me is I didn't know all of the legal bodies that were part of, the property practitioner space.
Exactly.
So, we've got the PPRA, you've got the FFC that you need to be a part of, we've got FICA regulations, etc.
Exactly.
Now, for a lot of, individuals that's in this space, that's even been in this game for quite some time, they have also not really educated themselves about all of these areas.
Exactly. And I mean, the point is, Thijs, it changes all the time. Like I say, I mean, we dealt with the Estate Agency Affairs Board for many years. That has changed. With that change came the new legislation, the Property Practitioners Act, 4 years ago. A lot of changes happens all the time. And as you say, with that comes compliance. I mean, a lot of people won't know, but real estate companies are accountable institutions in terms of FICA.
Yeah.
So it's not as if somebody wants all this information or an agent just wants a lot of documentation. It comes with the understanding we need it. We're an accountable institution. An agent needs to be on top of what FICA is about. All of that comes with the package of being qualified. So
Absolutely.
Exactly, as you say, you did not know of all of that, and that is what makes it challenging. And I mean, I always say it's not a last resort anymore. It is now a profession. And you need to qualify, and that excites me because for many years I've been looking forward to it, that we can get to a point where we are offering a professional service at a professional fee, and people must have that experience when they engage with a practitioner.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at international markets, if you're a property practitioner, you are seen as somebody of a senior caliber. It's not like jy's 'n agent. The Afrikaans way is, nee, hy's net nog 'n huisagent.
En ek het maandag begin en Vrydag my besigheidskaartjies gekry. And I mean, the saying that, don't underestimate the amount of knowledge and equipped agents that are around that have been for many years.
Yeah,
I mean, you were at my function last week, Tuesday.
Right, so we were privileged to be invited to this beautiful network event here today. And with me, I've got Freda. Freda, welcome.
Thank you very much. Wonderful. Thanks for the invite.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining me.
Listen, I mean, look at this venue. It's absolutely divine. So tell us, what would you like to achieve here with the event today?
Well, firstly, I think, Thijs, for me, it's so important to understand that this industry, real estate industry, is about networking.
Yeah.
So what I've done now over a few years is to bring back together like-minded people on a monthly basis. We do it online normally, but always nice to get in touch with each other as well. So firstly, to establish the networking and let people understand it's about collaborating
Yeah.
and sharing information. And I think that's kind of what we've achieved today. And as
Absolutely.
you say, in the perfect setting.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much. And
Yeah.
let's enjoy the rest
Thank
of the event. Right, so we're here in the Riviera Hotel and I've got Sarel from Discovery with us. Sarel, welcome.
Thank you very much.
Tell me, what would you like to achieve here with this private network today?
Well, most importantly, this is all about networking. And that's why we're here. We're at the networking for properties professionals. And, for me to be able to share our vision from Discovery with our networking in a group, we can take hands and work together. That is for me awesome. It's a plus.
Fantastic. Thanks for being here.
It's a little bit like, I always say in a room like that, there's more than 200 years of experience, or even more. And yeah, for many years, agents have taught themselves, but
Yes.
but we kind of above and apart from we're not there anymore.
Yeah.
This is a career. You have to qualify to become a
Yeah.
full status agent. You need to do a very specific qualification that really equips you. I mean, you were now exempted from the qualification, but you had to do 6 practical modules. You had to
Exactly.
complete it.
Yeah.
You had to confirm that to the regulatory body that it was done before you could actually go and write the exam to qualify as the full status
Absolutely.
agent. So that is, and I think people need to know that.
Yeah.
And that is where we are. And we spoke a little bit before we started about, the garden route and the excitement of real estate in the garden route. And I think that comes with it, that you need an equipped agent that can also fulfill that space for you, to introduce you to a specific area, to introduce you to real estate, to the different facets of real estate. Yeah, very exciting from all sides.
So if you ever see me at a property, I always have my file with me, but I have to show this. So in your file, you'll obviously have your fidelity certificate, which is that
Yeah.
portion over there.
Yeah.
But wherever I go,
Yeah.
I've got my 2 little books. So I have to show it. So one is the FICA and the other one is
It's
the
your
code of conduct. Always,
Oh,
always,
thank you,
always
Tess,
with
yeah.
me. So
Yeah, I think it's important also for everybody that listens to us, be it, because hopefully people will share this with each other, to understand that I believe that when you look at a property practitioner, there's 2 sides to it. The one being that you are looking at, or hopefully choosing a equipped person in terms of the advice that you're going to get with regards to the sales and marketing of your property. We're still going to get to that competitive advantage part.
Yeah.
But also to understand that a property practitioner needs to be compliant. What does that mean? Like you say, it starts with the fact that somebody needs to have a fidelity fund certificate.
yeah,
That is your license to trade.
Yeah.
And I want people and practitioners that are listening to us, I want them to make sure that they use that in their presentation. Start with saying to a client that I've got a valid fidelity fund certificate. That's why you will be paying commission to me. And that the public should know and understand that you don't pay commission to an agent who does not have a valid fidelity fund certificate. And part of that compliance, as you say, is to adhering and understanding your code of conduct. You referred to the books now. I had the opportunity to write with a co-author those 2 books, which we kind of gave the guidelines to a practitioner on how to implement the code of conduct to the industry and to public. We've had for many years, we've had a challenge as estate agents. People did not trust estate agents. I think we all familiar with that little phrase of met wie praat ek nou? Agent. Nee, ek deel nie met 'n agent nie. I don't trust agents. And how do I establish that trust relationship? I establish it by saying, listen, I understand the code of conduct. I've got an obligation to look after you, and there's certain values attached to that. So yes, that's very much part of that equipped agent that you need to deal with.
Absolutely. Look, and I mean, my personal experience with a lot of people that I've dealt with now, over the last couple of months as well, it's shocking to see that there are still people that will try their luck out in the fields. And obviously, because of the consumer not having the expertise or knowledge that we as property practitioners should have, because we're playing the advisory role.
Absolutely.
They don't know what they don't know. And it just boils back down to that. So, as far as I can, engage with the general public, I always try and educate them as well, because it is an absolute must that people need to know these things.
I mean, you would know that the very first thing that people should know is you, as being the client, being the consumer, have got no recourse if you deal with an agent who has not got a valid fidelity fund certificate.
Absolutely.
That's what that is for. The fact that if something happens in your transaction, that you could claim from that fidelity fund. That's what the fidelity fund is about. So absolutely, and I mean, we should use that to our advantage. Any practitioner that has got a valid fidelity fund certificate, who is part of a company who's got a valid fidelity fund certificate, should start there. And the consumer should start there by asking, are you a registered agent?
Absolutely.
And that's just so important. It makes and obviously becomes part of the success recipe for all of us.
Next question. So something I'm very passionate about as well. So in this digital space, the social media space that we play in, with things like AI that's coming on board now, but also how everybody needs to sort of factor in, how they sell themselves, or, have the seller sell their property or market it to the buyer. How do you see that evolving from, 10 years ago and how we used to do that versus where we are now?
I think there's 2 very important things. And that is that property practitioners needs to understand that you have to establish a competitive edge. Somehow, somewhere, you need to make sure what is going to make me stand out. We now already said it starts with being equipped. It starts with being compliant. And then very much so, how will people, why would people deal with me? Am I just part of one of the other 44,000? I think that's the stat that I got from the PPRA the other day. We 44,000 registered estate agents. We gotta work with where the industry, very much the industry and the world is going. And that's where you come in, I believe, that you have established this amazing functionality. That's where you, and I always say to practitioners, don't think it's just ticking the blocks. Don't say, well, you know what, I should be on Facebook, I should have an Instagram profile, etc. It's not about that. It's about really collaborating and getting the professional involved in making you stand out with using all these tools and engaging with where the world is going. And with that being said, you must please remember, and you would experience that, is that you work with very well-informed buyers and sellers. People that you engage with, Dace, have already seen the property that you're going to go and show them.
Yeah.
They will most probably even sign an agreement without seeing what they are buying. So it is how you present yourself. It is how you put that whole presentation together for them. So I would seriously urge somebody, like I always say, you need to have a well-equipped mentor with you, and you need a package where people could advise you accordingly. And I really do think that you've positioned yourself exceptionally well to property practitioners and to agencies, and that they should engage with you, because you're not just coming with your enormous amount of knowledge with regards to all of that and your expertise, but also now being in the industry makes it completely different. You know, I've held a principal FFC for more than 20 years. And I don't just have that because I need that to facilitate, but I do believe that it is important that people understand that I'm there with you.
Yes.
I'm also a practitioner. I'm also a registered practitioner.
Yeah.
And the same for you.
Yeah. No, I'm going to add on to, thanks for the kind words. I think, you know, there's always been this stagnation of how, you know, property practitioners used to do, you know, property shoots or engage with buyers and sellers historically.
Yeah.
I've come in, I've seen an opportunity in doing certain things differently. It's not new, but I just feel there's a certain value and confidence that it brings towards the table for buyers and sellers.
I can't agree with you more. And I think what is important when I also looked at your different products is what practitioners needs to understand. If you want to establish a competitive edge for yourself, you can't just copy and paste.
Yeah.
Your website can't just look the same as every single other one in the industry. The way you present yourself as the practitioner, if you really want to present yourself as being the professional, is you need that good advice. You need that little bit of a different approach to certain things. Like you say, I mean, think a little bit about part of your presentation saying to a seller, we're going to do a professional shoot for you.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that your cell phone video or your very good, you can obviously take good photos with a cell phone, and we do a lot of training on that. But it comes with just also saying to somebody, this is what I offer. It's something different, you know, and surely it would stand out. So I would really urge people to understand you need those expertise in your portfolio, without a doubt.
No, absolutely. All right, another interesting topic that we have to talk about now, the property market in South Africa. How do you feel about that space where we're in at the moment?
Well, you know what, Thijs, I think firstly...
We just got out the grey. We just got out the grey block.
List,
right?
Well, we're not on the grey list anymore.
So
and
I call it the grey block. I see it as Lego block. So we got out of there now. So yes.
Yeah, I mean, maybe just a little bit of a side note, understanding one of the reasons why South Africa was on the grey list was certain accountable institutions that did not adhere to money laundering legislation obligations. And unfortunately, attorneys and real estate companies were some of those keeping us on the grey list. So yes, we out of that. I think that's very positive. The interest rate came down again. And there's definitely, when I speak to my very good agents, there's a positivity around real estate. And we must understand, although, yes, you look at the statistics, you look at certain things that plays into real estate, that influences the market, but you know what? It's sometimes people's attitude as well.
Absolutely.
Being the consumer, people are positive. People think, you know what? I would like to invest in property. We definitely there. We definitely at a point where there is opportunity. I mean, the Western Cape is flying. I was part of a presentation the other day where Nedbank gave us excellent stats. So really, it's without a doubt on an up. But we will have to work very hard with regards to that. So I always look at real estate from two sides.
Yeah.
The one being, what does the market say?
Yeah.
You know, what's happening out there? And I do believe that there's a lot of positivity around it. And then on the other hand, when I look at real estate and the real estate industry as such, then I obviously also look at where are we going as an industry. And Thys, really, I have never been so positive about our industry than ever in more than 20 years.
Yeah.
Things are changing for the better. We have still got our challenges with regards to the bureaucracy, I always say, and I do believe you've got to manage that. But we have got a regulatory authority that are working with us. I've just done a whole roadshow with them where they engage with property practitioners. I'm definitely setting that up for the new year again, and we'll invite you to please come and join us on those.
I'll accept now already. Eh?
We are at a point where, and we've spoken about it now, that people choose this as a career.
Yeah.
I've never seen so many graduates coming into the industry ever than now. People that are saying, I'm putting my hand up, this is what I want to do.
Yes.
So yes, we are serious about the business that we do. We engaging at the right way. We are qualifying people. We are really in a good space. And remember, that contributes to real estate as such.
Absolutely.
You know, when you are dealing with a practitioner that are well informed and that really gives you good advice in terms of price, it creates that positivity around real estate, really. So that's kind of, I'm really looking forward to an amazing 2026. There's really lots of things that are going to happen. And we in a good space.
Good. Even myself, I think, it was touch and go for a couple of months. Yeah. But like I say to everybody, you keep doing what you're doing, make sure you're compliant in the areas that you need to be compliant. And where there are certain areas where you need to, just educate yourself. And
Tian, really, Thys, we've got an obligation as practitioners to inform our clients.
Yeah.
You got to take stand with regards to price. Let's quickly talk about price and real estate.
Yeah.
Many times an agent would say to me, but you know what, Freda, my seller just doesn't listen to me. Property and property price, for instance, people are emotional about property. It becomes part of their life.
Yes.
So you can't barge in and say, listen, sorry, the 400,000 too much on this property.
Yeah.
It is a process.
Yeah.
Firstly, you've got to understand that they need the correct information. Are you dealing with the statistics? Always something that you can fall back to say, Mr. Seller, do you remember our first engagement? Do you remember when I presented to you? That kind of thing. And we should not underestimate what that does for the industry, not for real estate agents as such, but people understanding that if I get the correct advice from a professional, I will also sell my property in the right time. I will be able to move on. I will get the best price because that should be the aim.
Yeah.
And I think that all contributes to the real estate industry and to where we are at the moment, definitely.
Absolutely.
But we are on a up. There's momentum.
Yeah.
People might not still sell the property in the time space that they want to. People might not get the price that they're thinking they should, but there's momentum, there's qualified buyers in the industry, people again see real estate as an investment, which is good, is good. Sorry, Thys, I just wanted to say, part of this roadshow of mine was collaboration with a lot of service providers, and that was exactly the message that we got from, for instance, a financial institution like F&B. F&B saying, you know what, we are engaging with consumers, we are engaging with developers to make sure that we provide, for instance, in the affordable housing space as well. So, when people start talking about that and saying, we would really like people to own their own property, that really does bring momentum and positivity, for sure.
All right, so I think if anybody has seen the passion, they would know that what they installed for when they obviously come and sign up and enroll with FK Consulting. So how does your mentorship programs look like? So what do you have on offer for principals, candidate, obviously property practitioners? What does that look like?
Thys, again, it kind of comes back to where I started. I think my niche is that I like to engage with you personally. So yes, I do have mentorship programs, meaning that people can engage with me in a specific program over a certain period of time. But yes, I would much rather want people to contact me and say, listen, Freda, I either want to become part of real estate, I want to see what happens there and how do I do that, or I get a principal practitioner that says, you know what, Freda, I need you to do a compliance audit for me. What is the next step for me in terms of my own business? I get people putting up their hands saying, I am now a qualified agent, a full status agent. I've qualified as a principal. I want to start my own business. Where do you slot me into your program? So yes, I have got custom-made programs for people, one-on-one, and then you can obviously join my network. I've got a network for property practitioners or professionals that meets on a monthly basis online. From that stems some training sessions and some mentoring, so people can subscribe to that. So there's different ways in which I structure it specifically.
And then tell me, what new programs or exciting things are you working? Because you're always busy with something. You're very busy.
Like you, Tace. You know, we, as I said, two things for 2026 that's very exciting is the one being I was co-author as well of a book, the 6 practical modules that exempted agents need to do and guidance to the workplace experience that agents have to do, content for that. So I wrote the book, we published it earlier in the year, and it became part of a program. I am rewriting that. I am adjusting the content, and I am going to, and I would definitely give you the information. I'm starting that new course at the end of Jan. People can enroll a real estate course that comes with the publication, where people, either be it a candidate that's now joining the industry or people that want to just refresh their memory on certain things. And then again, for people that needs to mentor in their own business. That's challenging. Yeah. You know, now you're a business owner, but it's expected of you to also be a mentor to a candidate agent. So I'm doing that new course in 2026. I'm adjusting the content of my book at the moment to enhance that real estate course. And then something that I'm very, very excited about, Thijs, is through the PPRA roadshows, I have engaged with some service providers, and we've set up a collaboration kind of platform for 2026. So it's the likes of F&B and Integral and Lightstone and Currencies Direct and a few developers and the Study, which is a learning institution. We are going to collaborate in huge projects for the new year. Fantastic. And the PPRA is on board. Good. So the PPRA is on board. I'm going to publish that diary and calendar of mine in the first week in Jan, so that you all know where to slot in. We're looking forward to a property show around about September. Good. It was an initiative of the PPRA. Okay. So 2026 is going to be busy. So new for me is the course, the new content in the book, the collaboration and the network of service providers like yourself. A very exciting 2026 coming up.
Fantastic. It sounds busy.
It is busy. Yeah, and closing the year, you know, we're just wrapping up. This talk today is wonderful. And that really kind of ends a fantastic year. Absolutely. And I always believe that you need to make those ticks and plan your 2026 as well. That's also part of what I offer, is just to sit with people and say, okay, well, what next? You know, Freda, what is next in my business? Absolutely.
Then 2 last points. What advice would you give to the everyday consumer that's looking at buying their first property or selling? And then also the bit of advice for, you know, the everyday property practitioner, you know, one bit of advice for each that you could give.
To the consumer, Thijs, is something we've just chatted about it.
Yeah.
Ask questions when you start engaging with your practitioner.
Absolutely.
You need to, it's not just about the person that advertises the property. Ask the question with regards to their compliance. It's to your advantage. So ask those questions and make sure that you're working with a compliant agent and an agency.
Yeah.
That's very important. So that would be my advice to a consumer. It will just end all. It will end well. I can promise you that.
Yeah.
If you've got that, because you've got a committed person. And then for practitioners is hang in there and equip yourself. I mean, make sure that you're compliant and that you are equipped. Take it serious.
Yes.
Please take yourself serious.
Yeah.
This is not something that I need to hang around and maybe it's working for me or not. No. Take yourself serious. Present yourself as being the professional, and you'll never look back. It is a very, very, very amazing world to be in. It is so, I mean, that's why we've been around so long, you know. It is fantastic. But I mean, take yourself serious and present yourself as the professional and equip yourself that you can be the professional.
Absolutely. Freda, it was so nice having you. Thank you so much for being
Thank you.
here today.
Thank you for the invite.
And tell me, if anybody wants to get in touch, where can they reach you?
They can obviously go to my website, www.fkconsulting. They can contact me through the website, or they are more than welcome to get in touch via Facebook. I've got a Facebook profile, or they could just really phone or email me. It's freda@fkconsulting.co.za, and I don't even mind giving my number. It's 082-855-6885. Please contact me. I'm ready to take your call. Thank you very much.
Oh, Freda, thank you so much.
Thank you.
So if there's any further questions that you might have or topics around what we've discussed here today, please reach out. And who knows, we might feature that in a future episode. Freda, once again, thank you so much.
Thank you so much. And may you have a blessed season.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it.